So what are my tips on storing a motorcycle outside? Well, this is a nice easy one, so get cozy, hang out with me for a few minutes, and let's dive right into it. What's up everyone? It's Alex. I've now had several viewers, including Crab Joe, ask me my thoughts and opinions and tips on storing a motorcycle outside, so I figured this would be a really nice easy topic to talk about today for just a few minutes. So storing a motorcycle outside. Well, first off, it's pretty obvious at this point I have a garage. I store my motorcycle in the garage inside. But for many, many years, I rode motorcycles while living in apartments, etc. So I do have a lot of experience with storing a motorcycle outside, the ups and downs of it, and kind of figuring out what worked well for me for keeping corrosion, etc. off, keeping it decently clean, and keeping it from getting stolen. So first off, it kind of goes without saying, but I've had a lot of viewers ask me, well, I keep my motorcycle outside, but I'm worried about it getting stolen. What do I do? The easiest thing to do about this is just chain it to something, obviously. Get a good sturdy chain. There are actual motorcycle chains out there, or you can get a bigger, sturdier bike chain or whatever you want to do. But get a sturdy chain, preferably with a key lock, not a combination, because believe it or not, the combination locks are pretty easy to get around. I would do a big, beefy key lock. And what I used to do was, if I was living in an apartment in a sketchy kind of an area, I would park my motorcycle near a set of stairs or something, and I would use the chain to chain it to a post on the stairs, and then chain it to something sturdy on the motorcycle. If you have a good spot on the frame where you can get a chain around, use that. Otherwise, I would go between your forks. Don't chain it to a wheel, because believe it or not, wheels actually come off pretty easy. If someone really wants to steal that motorcycle, they got a couple of guys, they can remove a wheel and put it in the back of a truck or something and just get another wheel. So if you're worried about it getting stolen, the easiest thing to do is to simply chain it to something. Aside from that, if it's outside, there's not a lot else you can do aside from chaining it to something. But moving beyond that kind of obvious little thing there, I just had to add that because people are actually asking me that question. As far as keeping it clean and keeping it from corroding, etc. outside. For the sake of argument, I live in a fairly temperate area. The part of the US that I live in, we do have very hot, humid summers, and then we do get decently cold winters. Not super, super cold, snow on the ground for 6 months or anything like that, but we do get decently cold winters, and it will snow and ice a few times a year, etc. here. So we kind of have the both extremes. We have the hot weather, a lot of humidity. We also have cold weather. We do get snow and ice. We do occasionally get salt, brine on the road, stuff like that. So I kind of have experience with dealing with both of those extremes. For those of you living in way colder climates where it snows and ices a lot, you're going to deal with a lot more salt and ice and everything, so you're just going to deal with this even more. But basically, when I kept my motorcycle outside, what I figured out worked the best for me as far as protecting it and keeping it decent. I got a nice motorcycle cover. In the old days, I used a tarp, but I stopped doing that because the tarps can scratch up, scuff up the paint, stuff like that. They don't protect as well, so my recommendation would be to actually spend the money and get a decent motorcycle cover, one that is sized appropriately. They usually come in small, medium, large, extra large for different sizes, shapes of bikes. Get an appropriate motorcycle cover for your motorcycle. Guardian makes them, a lot of other companies make them. Just pick a decent quality one so it will be protective on the outside to help keep rain, stuff like that off. And then usually on the inside they will have a softer liner to keep them from scuffing up and scraping up and scratching your paint, etc. on your motorcycle. So get a decent, well-fitted motorcycle cover, get some bungees and things like that, so that usually they'll have little loopholes and stuff on them where you can actually like secure them underneath. So if it's going to be real windy or it's going to be real bad weather or anything, you can actually secure those real nice. Get a nice motorcycle cover and actually use it. The next big thing that helped me all the time was I actually learned that the more I washed my motorcycle, the better for keeping things off it, because you will wash off the salt, the grime, the nonsense, the dirt, all that kind of stuff. You'll actually wash everything off of it, which can also help keep from A, swirling, scuffing up your paint, can help keep corrosion away. So washing your motorcycle on a regular basis, you know, once a week or once every couple weeks, however often you want to do it, helps a lot. But the last biggest thing, aside from the cover, the last biggest thing that I started using all the time that really helped keep my motorcycles from rusting and corroding and just falling apart outside was this stuff right here. And this is not sponsored in any way, shape, or form. I just happen to use this all the time on everything, so I'm going to recommend it. But this magical nonsense right here, whatever they did to come up with the formula for Honda Spray Cleaner Polish, this stuff is pure magic in a can when it comes to taking care of a motorcycle and helmets and all that kind of stuff. This Honda Spray Cleaner Polish stuff right here, I use this for the face shields on my helmets. I use it for my entire helmet. I use it for metal parts, plastic parts, painted, you name it. It doesn't matter. This stuff seems to be safe on basically any motorcycle or whatever surface you want to use it on. It's really good for cleaning stuff off. I use this, and I use a good microfiber towel on the whole motorcycle. It cleans stuff off. It does a really good job of cleaning and polishing. And then it also, if you use it correctly, it'll leave kind of a nice thin film of kind of protectant on the motorcycle that I have found actually goes a long way to protecting against rust, corrosion, oxidization, all that kind of stuff. So that's my other big tip. The biggest tips on here are going to be getting a nice quality, well-fitted cover for it and using this stuff or something very similar to this stuff on a regular basis to wipe down the entire motorcycle. Just take a microfiber, put some headphones in, whatever you got to do for half an hour, and wipe down your entire motorcycle, love on it with the Honda polish or a similar product that you can find that works just as well. And that will really help go a long way to keeping the moisture and the oils and all that kind of crap from eating away at your motorcycle. That's really it for my big tips, guys. There are other products out there that you can use. There are things that are specifically used for taking rust off of bikes, where if you already have rust starting, you can look into those. You can use some of that kind of stuff. The Honda polish actually does a pretty good job of removing rust too, so that's actually all I basically use all the time. I used to use things like semi-chrome and things of that nature. I really, at this point, just wash motorcycles and use Honda polish on them, and I have not found a bike yet, really, that I couldn't get cleaned up really, really nicely with a can of Honda polish and some bike wash. Other than that, like I said, if you're worried about it getting stolen, find a good secure spot to chain your motorcycle up and either chain it through the forks or through a frame member, not a wheel, to make sure it's nice and secure. Get a well-fitted cover for your motorcycle from a decent brand. You're probably going to spend $70+ on a nice motorcycle cover. It is well worth the money. It will help keep things off your motorcycle. Wash your motorcycle regularly and use Honda polish or a similar product on your motorcycle after washing to finish detailing it and to leave a nice protective film on it that will help protect against corrosive stuff and help keep you from getting a lot of rust, etc., things like that. I've even used the Honda polish and like a more abrasive, not really a microfiber, but a more abrasive material to clean rust around exhaust pipes and all that kind of stuff. So for those of you that are asking me about cleaning up the rust off those bolts, that kind of thing, you can get rust remover. You can also use Honda polish and a little bit of elbow grease to get that done, okay? That's it, guys. Nice, easy, comfortable one for today, just because people keep asking me these questions. I know some of these things might seem really obvious to a lot of you, and I have been getting some backlash from some of my viewers on making videos for such basic topics. But you have to understand, I get a lot of people viewing the channel that are brand new riders, and I have a responsibility to them to share this knowledge, and when they ask questions, to make videos answering those questions just like I would for an advanced rider. So that's the reason for these kind of videos, guys. Just want to hang out, talk to you, answer the questions, build the community, all good things, right? As always, guys, have a great day, ride safe. I'm Alex. Lots more big videos coming up. Peace.